So I'm here today with gorgeous Elle, and we are going to talk about the best kind of skincare and makeup to give you glowing, beautiful skin for winter. What I'm doing now is I'm applying a mask by a brand called Glow Elixir. It's a super hydrating mask. I'm just putting a thin layer of this on now. It feels actually really beautiful and slippy. I'm going to put a little bit more on, and then once that's on, I'm going to give it a good massage into the skin to really get the blood circulating. I am using a roller just to really give it a good massage into the skin. Actually having that mask on before you use a roller or having kind of a facial oil on is going to allow you to use a tool like this and actually not drag across the skin. And this just really helps to kind of lift and tighten and actually get all the muscles in the face working and aid lymphatic drainage, so it helps with puffiness. And I'm sure you guys have seen lots of these on the market. This one is actually Alex Steiner for Primark, so it's really effective and it won't break the bank balance. You can leave that mask on to sink into the skin and then just put makeup straight on top, but I've cleansed some of it off just with a dry cotton pad, and I'm going to add a little bit of serum now. These are the Elizabeth Arden Hyaluronic capsules, so they come like this, and just actually I find that these sit so beautifully under makeup, which is why I'm using them too. Just popping some lip balm on now. This is the Lana Lips Ointment. I actually find this really, really hydrating, and it tends to last really well. So kind of in the cold winter air, I find that this is a really good and effective lip balm. Just popping a little bit of primer on now. This is the Pore Professional Primer from Benefit. I wanted to pack the skin full of hydration, so this primer just helps take down any areas that are a little bit too shiny now that we've got lots of moisture in the skin. I think that skin looks so beautiful. I'm just going to pop some foundation on now, and actually look how perfect colour match this is. This is a Dior Face and Body Foundation. It's so beautiful and lightweight, but still gives a little bit of coverage where you need it. And this is in the shade 1N, and I'm just popping that on with a Dior foundation brush. It's quite thick as synthetic foundation brushes go, so it's quite good, this one, for applying and also kind of buffing in at the same time. Popping a little bit of concealer on now. This is the Hourglass Vanish Concealer. I love this concealer because it's got a really beautifully creamy formula which makes it easy to blend into the skin, but it also gives quite a full coverage finish, which means it's nice for under eyes and blemishes too. Just popping a little bit of powder on now. Just using a really small brush so that I don't overload the skin with powder, but just a little bit under the eyes to set. And also going to put some in the center of the forehead, just kind of the center of the face really. This is the Terry Hyaluronic Hydra Powder. Using this one to set makeup but not remove the glow from the skin. I'm going to put a little bit of bronzing in the skin now. I am using a liquid bronzer. This is the Dr. Hauschka bronzing tint. The reason I'm using a liquid is because I find that it's going to just kind of almost melt into the base that we've got on and look like a super kind of natural glowy flush. So I'm just popping that on cheekbones, a little bit on temples, the top of the forehead, anywhere that you would normally apply your bronzer. But now for blush. I feel like blush is so important when you're creating kind of healthy looking winter skin. This is an Ilia Colour Haze pigment in the shade Sing, which is a really beautiful kind of raspberry pink. And what I'm doing with this is I'm just popping it on the apples of the cheeks, but I'm also going to take it a little bit lower than I would do normally, and also a tiny bit across the bridge of the nose. And I want it to almost look like Elle has been on a kind of frosty winter walk and just come back home with a beautiful flush. I just want to take a moment for this blush. How gorgeous. And actually, if you turn to the side slightly, you can see where it just comes slightly lower here. It's just that just really natural looking flush cheek. And the fact that it's a cream texture makes it even more natural. Now to highlight, I'm going to be using the Westman Atelier Light Up Highlighting Stick. This is just the chicest packaging. I love this little magnetic moment. I'm popping this on with a fingertip. This gives a really kind of beautiful dewy glow just at the top of cheekbones. It's got a little bit of iridescence to it, this shade. The shade is called Lit Up. This beautiful eyeshadow that I'm using is an Hourglass Glitter Shadow, Scattered Light Glitter Shadow in the shade Reflect. It's this beautiful kind of coppery champagne tone, and just really packing that onto the lid. This pressing motion just prevents fallout around the eyes when you're using a product like this. And then I'm just going to blend out the edges of this too. Keeping the liner really thin and fine just to really elongate the shape of the eyes. I'm using this tiny little liner brush, which is from NIKKI. And I guess the idea when you do a liner like this is that when you look straight ahead, more so when you've got mascara on, but it almost looks like a little extra lash in the corner. Ella's got such beautiful lashes that I'm not going to apply any falsies today. We're just going to work with her natural lashes, starting by curling them just to make sure that we get the most lift. Does that feel okay?
Yeah.
And then I'm going to apply mascara afterwards. I'm going to use a lash primer to get the most out of Ella's natural lashes. This is a Dior Shade 3D Lash Maximizer. So I'm just going to pop a coat of this on before mascara. I think the trick with this is you want to give it like 30 seconds to a minute to not fully dry. Just trying out a brand new mascara now. This is the Illamachiage Icon Mascara. Actually, it looks pretty good. I really like the applicator of this. Using it straight from the applicator because I'm going to give this to Ella afterwards, obviously. Now onto brows, and I'm just popping a little bit of soap brows just to kind of tame Ella's incredible brows. They're so amazingly full, these brows. I'm not going to put too much product in afterwards because I want to keep them natural and they're kind of full enough on their own, but I might just slightly elongate the end here because I always feel like that helps to frame the look. Using the Anastasia Beverly Hills brow pen, used this in my tutorial last week and I really like the way that this applies. So I'm literally, as you can see, just elongating the end of the brow here. When I do this, I always like to kind of keep it slightly above the natural brow growth because I find that lifts the shape of the brow and is really flattering. Now onto lips, and I want to go for a really beautiful nude. This is a lip liner by Merk Cosmetics in the shade Foxy, and I've made sure that it's a really lovely sharp pencil so that you can go slightly over Ella's natural lip line just to give a fuller looking pout. When I'm overdrawing lips slightly, I always try and keep that lip liner within the natural lip line in this part and then just go slightly over in the center, and that keeps it looking realistic and still feminine and flattering. The lipstick I'm using is a KKW Beauty cream lipstick. This is in the shade number 1 nude, which is kind of a really beautiful pinky nude. I've actually put all of my KKW lipsticks in a palette. Look how satisfying that is, because I love all the shapes. Just going to set the skin now with a little bit of the Hourglass Veil Soft Focus Setting Spray, because that's going to give a lovely light glow to the skin. And then Luke is going to do hair and we will show you the finished look. Here is our finished look. Beautiful hair as per usual by Luke and a warm wintry glow.